This is May from Superstar Art Foundation. I'm glad to see you on Friday. On the last episode in my interview, I have introduced the newly issued NFT creation of Queen. Today we're going to discuss the impact of economic from the Queen Elizabeth. What does the Queen's death going to affect the world economy afterwards? Let me introduce today's VIP guest to my show, Michel. Been doing financial advisory for years.
Yes, thank you. And I spent all my life overseas. I live more than 3 years in 14 countries. I spent 46 years in Asia and 16 years in Beijing, in China, where I have, in fact, family and house. I invest in China. I invest also in Australia. But as a merchant banker, I was a senior banker in Asia, in Middle East, and in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, for 26 years. And after that, I created my own business as a merchant banker, investors, and investing, but in the same time, working with all kinds of partners around the world in finance and in acquisition, finding some projects and bringing the investors for very large projects and smaller projects.
As you know, Queen Elizabeth II has just passed away. As a loyal family member, she lived her legendary story to the world, and also she's an influential person in the world, and she is said to be the most powerful woman in the world. And since she passed away, a lot of people are discussing about it. What do you think the impact or influence she's going to bring afterwards?
First, she left a fantastic record of, as you said, representing around the world, because the Commonwealth was covering part of the world, and people were following her during this kind of 70 years of reign. So, story and this majesty has been covering as the head of the Commonwealth, and some of these countries are still very much with her. The money print and is still under with her. Even she died, and Charles will take over with the money. But she was a fantastic lady because she has humor. She was always resilient, and have always served the duty. She was considering that the Commonwealth was like a family. She has been going through different crises around the world, including the war, including the decolonization around 1957 and 60, and go through all this period, including next to her some problem with Ireland. We will continue with the Irish. And so the problem we have been existing will continue, but she has been always able to be a fantastic political diplomat. Even if she was not, she was always able to speak to all kinds of authorities, state of countries, and always with diplomacy, and very well informed. Apparently, every time she is meeting a president from any kind of country, she will be extremely well informed and be able to discuss. So that was a fantastic example. Now we have the son who is coming with Charles, so it's another story. And we will see how the world will react, including some countries are thinking already to have a republic. I am living in a country called Australia. There is still a governor here of representing the Queen, and Canada, the case, and other countries. Charles will continue to create this kind of bond between communities, correct? And that is including very large countries like India and etc. So that's quite extraordinary. But the world is changing, and there are a lot of political and geopolitical issues were there. In the same time, we're crossing different period of turbulence. We're going to speak probably about that. About climate change and inflation, etc., etc. So please.
Because the Prince Charles just become the king right now. So do you think the King Charles right now is going to perform the same role as the Queen Elizabeth How do you predict that the relationship between the UK and Australia and the world economy are going to be?
Knowing the job of future king since years and years and years. He's now 73 years old, and mother was have a long life. So he has been learning carefully, and his strong ideas about, example, the climate change or being following the green tendencies. And now it could not be using any kind of political strong issue. He need to have this, and he knows very well to follow the role of Majesty, the king. And as a king, he will be completely different than the mother. Cannot replace the mother, but he will have his own personality. But he's going to be meeting all the state president and state of the various countries, including the one who were colonies of England, including Australia or Canada and so on. And is the people of these countries we will have to decide if there will be a referendum, and if, example, they want to stay, 55% will want to stay with the monarchy and they will continue, or if they want, on the contrary, be majority for a republic, and then the countries will become republic one by one. But anyway, it's a tendency, including Scotland, including Ireland. The fact that you will have some referendum in some countries like Australia or Canada.
How does the Australia people react to this news?
You know, the Australian people are very much following the Queen, because around 55% of the population is Anglo-Saxon. So they are Irish, or they are Scottish, or they are British. And there is a strong influence. And the other, perhaps now you have up to 46% are not born in this country, and they are not Anglo-Saxon. So they come from any kind of countries around the world. This is the immigration of Australia today, which is very different than in 20 years ago. So yes, it's still very much following all the institutions and the parliament, and the political system is very much Anglo-Saxon and not at all to diversify at all. It's very much Anglo-Saxon, following the government, not the people.
Do you think that the future change of Australia economy are going to be strongly associated with the change of the power of UK, or is it going to be the same, the less influence?
Referendum is already on the pipeline, and we will have a referendum to decide if we stay with the monarchy or if we become a republic. That will be very soon, perhaps in 1 year time.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of changes are going to happen. This is what I think, my personal opinion. And because the Queen has been a lubricant for the diplomatic, relationship among many countries. But for the new leaders, because of the change, there's some elements, uncertainty in between the countries. I personally think it's going to be a challenging situation for the new leaders.
Yes, for the world. And consequently, it's just a kind of a diploma for the British, very good for the country. Why to have a queen? If you are on the other side, the colonization is finished since 1960. So today there is no point, only emotional, and I don't think the new king will be able to be this kind of country, but they could be completely independent. Again, it's quite ridiculous at that time today to have a governor of England in Australia. I cannot understand that, but this is historical.
Like I said, there's a lot of elements are going to affect the world economy in the future, such as the COVID, the war, and the change of the leaders in countries, between countries. How do you predict the future of the economy in the recent 1 or 2 years?
We are in a very, very period of perturbation, very high inflation starting, raising inflation, affecting the world, not only COVID. So through that, we have disturbed export, this logistic has been disturbed. Countries have been slow to export. Countries, the port and the airport have been sometimes blocked. Export again, and the cost of transport has been increased. In China, the market is also very slow, and in sometimes still very dynamic, but COVID has been affected. The real estate, a lot of development for the people to be able to get their apartment finished and move in. In the same time, the economy, they try to stimulate the economy to reach this kind of 5.5 target, strategic target for China. And to do that, they need to, and they decide to do large infrastructure again, very large infrastructure, domestic in China and overseas. Okay. In Europe, they are affected by this war in Ukraine, and they will have to pay their gas, their electricity, but the cost of all the agriculture, the commodities, the good and service will increase with an inflation with reaching already in UK 10%, and in Europe not far from there. So this winter and the next year will be quite dramatic. Now, when you have inflation, you will have people having some problem with their loan. The one who have borrowed too much will have to pay suddenly a higher interest rate, and consequently the bank will be worried and will start to call back some loan, or some people will not be able to pay the loan for their house. Will be the. So you have inflation regime will affect again energy, the price of energy, price of petrol, price of electricity becoming quite dramatic for the people who have not too much income. And the agriculture, the commodities, the price of vegetables and food also increasing due to this logistic and export from Ukraine for the grain and so on. Again, some people in Africa or some Middle East and so on will be affected dramatically by less food, and that could create some more revolt. Is basically what we can say. So the attitude of the people in Europe, like in Australia, like in US, are not ready to work very hard. And after COVID, where they've been able to relax with the government putting a lot of money on they stay at home receiving the money, and now they don't want to go back to work full time. So they have part time. So it seems that there is, including in Australia, in UK, in France, etc. Surprisingly, some people are not rushing to get the fixed salary and going back to the office, and that could create also some problem. Europe will have some very big problem because again, some of the industry will have to move to other continents, and again, more in Asia. Asia will be more dynamic, I believe, and China will continue to be the locomotive of the world for any kind of equipment, especially when we speak about energy and new energy, solar and so on. 80% come from China. So how come the US or Europe said we are going to do it? They will have to buy Chinese. With China on electric cars and on other sophisticated product, robotic and so on. But all this is competition now, and you will have some manufacturer for sure in other countries. We are already existing in Vietnam, in Korea, in India, but I think China will continue to be a very strong country for industries and exporting, especially new technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics.
The coming future potential crisis that every country is to start to working on the new energies and for the food and stuff. It also affects the small business owners, okay? Because you've been in financial business for a long time. So what do you suggest the small business owners to do, or what is the best way for them to survive, in your opinion?
And for sure, you need to have a bit of cash flow, and you need to have some reserve, and to be prudent in your move. But there are so many opportunities worldwide for business. So it depends what is your business. But I see the future is still bright for entrepreneurs and many opportunities. But you need to be prudent and still full of enthusiasm. You need to go step for sure, to take over merger and acquisition, and also to perform in a difficult period. But you need to have a bit of reserve and be careful on the spending to be able to invest in the right direction. So you will have to navigate in this kind of difficult world. including between selling your shares or buying some other commodities, or if you have cash. So you'll have to manage your fortune if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your suggestion.
So it's very interesting because you are learning, even with a lot of experience, you're learning and listening what the client wants, and find the way to develop the business.
Yeah, I know that you have been involved with the multi-billion dollars, international deals in merger and acquisition. I'm sure you will give wise advice to the business owners that's looking for fundings and looking for business opportunities. And I wish our show will help more business entrepreneurs to give them the guidance or advice to help them better survive and deal with the unstable economic situation.
We always try. Thank you.
Is Superstar Art Foundation is founded in 2019, and we are a nonprofit organization. We're helping artists to achieve their dreams, and we have different programs. We're trying to provide the job opportunities and the trainings to help improve their professional knowledges and help them to find the jobs and create more income for artists and give them more chance. So that's what this platform is looking for. We have built online training programs such as the Superstar Academy program is for the online training, self-learning subject.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. And also we have a competition, online competition is Miss Economic World. It's helping the female artists to provide the chance for them to be the ambassador to endorse for the world economy, like for the brands and the product to promote online. And I think this is economic world. So we select the artists not just to have a beauties, but also have a warm heart to help others. That's the mission of the nonprofit. So this year we are going to we are raising fund for Ukraine to help Ukraine. A lot of people lose their family because of the war, so they have a financial burdens. So we want to help them and give them the grants. Right now, we have started promotion during the Cannes Film Festival back in May, and we've been doing pretty good. We have been receiving the applicants from the Ukraine Miss Economic candidates. Top 10 are going to help to raise fund to support the humanity funding pool. I think this is good. We do that every year, and we give a award, a nomination for the contribution that has been provided from the donors and members and our partners or sponsors. So that way we would give acknowledgement to what they have done and their effort to the nonprofit programs. I'm very glad and honored to invite you to be our show, and hopefully, our show will be helpful for the business owners and artists. If you like our show, please subscribe. The Superstar TV 888 is our channel, and May We Talk Show is our weekly show on every Friday. I'm happy to see you in our show next time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. You too.